Helen Adams Keller was born June 27, 1880, in Tuscumbia, Alabama. Helen was a very bright child, always smiling. She frequently said, "Howdy," when someone would enter the room. At 19 months old, Helen Keller became extremely sick. With a high fever, doctors expected her to die. Once the fever broke, Helen was blind and deaf shortly after. Helen only knew very basic ways of communication. Because of her inability to communicate, she was left frequently frustrated, feeling as if she was lost in her own dark world. It was not until she was 7 that she had deliverance from her isolation. Anne Sullivan arrived in Alabama March 3, 1887. She became Helen's teacher and companion for the rest of her life. Within 4 months, Anne had taught Ellen 400 words. Young Helen was become a national sensation. Reporters all wanted to interview the blind deaf child that was accomplishing the impossible, but rather than allow fame to go to her head, Helen continued her education. She was eventually sent to Perkins Institution for the Blind in May of 1888. In 1899, Helen was accepted into Radcliffe College of Harvard University and graduated in 1904. As Helen became stronger in her education, Helen also became stronger in her societal beliefs. Helen believed the problems of the world were caused by wrong economic conditions, and the only way to fix the issue was societal reorganization. Keller became the pioneer of sorts when it came to the Socialist Party. Not afraid to vocalize her viewpoints, Helen Keller wrote columns regularly in the Socialist Party press. Went non-stop lecture tours across country. She supported major strikes and industrial battles. Keller's entrance into the socialist movement intertwined with her rise within the women's suffrage. She believed that every woman had the right for equality. She frequently participated in marches and protests. Male supremacists continued to make the argument that women were biologically and unnecessarily subordinate and inferior to men. She would respond, "The inferiority of women is man-made." Helen advocated for the complete equality of women in the fields economic, political, and societal. She argued that masculine chivalry had failed women, and therefore women should organize and make themselves an aggressive factor that could not be ignored. Helen Adams Keller fought for every obstacle that opposed her. She was a woman that loved and cared for others before herself. This wonderful woman passed away June 1st, 1968. This woman fought for the equality for the disabled and for women. She believed that everyone had the right for equal opportunities around the world. Within her lifetime, she traveled to over 40 countries, making an astounding ripple effect for activists. She continues to be remembered today as a woman that not only had the heart for the disabled, but also for people. In 1980, Judy Chicago became the concept art that later named the International Honor Quilt and donated to the University of Louisville. Helen Keller's panel has a quilted 3D image of the international symbol for "I love you." The symbol was surrounded by a stitched Braille alphabet. These two symbols fit Helen Keller perfectly, not because she loved Braille, but because she loved to uplift others. Helen Keller not only fought and argued for her own freedom, but also for the freedom for those who felt that they did not have a voice and continued to be in a darkness of their own. Sign language and Braille is what eventually gave her the ability to find her own voice.